Hi, I'm Christina.
I'm Maja
from
Book and Dreams, and welcome to new video.
Today we are doing an unexpected review.
Yes.
Because Maja really didn't like Becky Chambers' first what was it series, The Long Way to a
Small Angry Planet. I gave up at 50%.
Yes,
it was boring.
And then she read Psalm for the Wild Build, and she gave it 5 stars.
Yes.
She loved it.
Yes.
And then she read A Prayer for the Crime Shy, and I guess you also loved it.
I loved it as well.
And she asked me if I would want to read them and reread them with her, and I did. And I also love them. Let's just say this is going to be like a 5-star review for these two novellas.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just start first off by saying what the novellas are about, because there's no really some kind of
no plot.
There's no big plot line, no big conflicts or anything. So so this is like a moon. This is like a sci-fi.
I have no idea.
Yeah, as I gather, this is like a moon, and it's called Panga. And at some point in history, robots became self-aware and went away, and humanity was kind of, or whatever,
evolved enough to let them leave.
Yes.
Without conflict.
Yes, and and then I guess humanity. We never actually know.
Yeah,
humanity.
Yeah.
Okay, so humanity kind of has to evolve without the robots, and we are following sibling Dex, who becomes a tea monk. So they were something else before, and
they were a monk, but they were a different kind of monk.
And they felt lost. They just wanted to try something new, so they became a tea monk.
Mm-hmm.
And on their travels, they kind of met different people, and at some point again felt a bit lost. And when they wandered off into the wilderness,
yes, they went to look for hermitage.
A hermitage, yes. They happened to find a robot, Moscap, who kind of left the whole robot community to ask people one question: what do you need?
Yes, and that's basically it.
And that's the plot for both novellas.
Yes.
So maybe you're thinking, why did you give this 5 stars? Like, you both like more like plot, action, like things happening. But Maja,
I think this book is like an excellent example of reading a book at the right moment. Because I was just first of all, audiobooks are fantastic. I would recommend the audiobook because the narrator does a fantastic job of like conveying everything, and it just
I would also like to point out, since the main character is non-binary, I was actually astounded by how I never got from the narrator. I literally didn't feel like it was either a male or female voice.
Okay.
No, it was just like literally very neutral. Even at times it felt more male, more female, but it conveyed, like, I felt like the voice was part of like the whole non-binary like identity of the main character. It felt so true to the character. I know, I really like that.
Yeah, as I said, audiobook is fantastic. And if you've been following this channel for quite some time, I don't do like no plot. I need plot, I need action, I need my characters doing something. But this was written in such a way because these two characters, the monk and the robot, basically have a discussion about humanity, what it means to be human, what's the purpose of one's life, death and life, and like being valued in society, what capitalism,
what is
there were
society,
so many philosophical discussions,
family,
basically
everything.
Like an outsider coming into humanity and asking them like typical questions. I mean typical like
like somebody coming from completely other culture and asking you, explain yourself.
Yes, explain humanity. And and it was explained in such a relatable and in a way that was so easy to understand and grasp. It wasn't like preachy or philosophical or overly wordy, and it was like,
I think that Moscap as a robot, I almost felt like it was maybe almost like had an inspiration of like what a child would ask, because it had so many like questions where Dex would they would explain something, and the robot would be like, but why? Because this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And when you read it, it was like, oh my god, yes. And you kind of I mean, there was so much. I feel like you can't contemplate everything,
Yes.
all of that, but when you read it, you literally feel like, I really think we should kind of rethink our entire society and existence.
I mean, this is a cozy cozy sci-fi.
Yes.
And it definitely is cozy because it's like all
Yes.
vibes, no plot, and it's like I really enjoyed the world that Becky Chambers created, in which like humanity is sort of respectful and decent, and you know, in their actions of letting the robots leave, and you know, not causing any trouble, and being sort of curious when they come back and accepting and whatnot. It's just it was such an interesting utopia, and really
and,
something
like,
that we're missing.
The
and
type of society she described, like where like material things aren't actually a thing.
Mm-hmm. And like money isn't a thing. It's basically
I
like
meant that. Yeah. It's like, it's more like your
favors.
good your good actions, the ways you contribute to your community is how you make your pay, let's say.
Yes.
And it was such an interesting concept, and I was like immediately, yeah, that's never gonna happen, at least not now.
I know, but it was such a
but
refreshing read.
Yeah, I think maybe because of like the pandemic, and like, okay, we are in a specific situation here in Croatia where kind of in the sense we are really, at least I am, frustrated with how our government is behaving. It's just been like a series of affairs and corruption and everything, and it's like it's been happening for years, and we're
grown up enough to
we're at an age where
notice it
and where it
pay
actually
attention.
affects us, and we realize how it affects us. And these novellas were just like it was almost
It's a balm. It was a balm. It was like literally...
she read you wrote like it's deep and cozy. Like I felt like it felt like a warm hug, because I want to live in that society that was portrayed. I want to feel like that. I want to be like accepted and like, and I mean, it was just,
you know, because I think it's easy for us to put ourselves in Dex's shoes, because Dex is basically experiencing burnout.
yes,
And I mean, myself, have been experiencing burnout like this. Like my job, like the last month of my job was complete fucking chaos with people and whatnot, and it was awful. Yeah. And I read this at like a great moment, and it was just, oh my god, thank you. Like it was so refreshing and so easy to fall into, because it gave you like a different perspective of like, oh, things technically could be different. Not that they're going to be, but it's like giving you sort of a way to express your feelings, as you know, that we are feeling right now about, you know, our professional lives, the personal lives and whatnot, and just sort of try to find a different way of viewing humanity and viewing this world, and you know, sort of gathering energy and strength to continue on. Basically. Like, to end this review, I want to read you like 2 paragraphs of someone else's review. So this is, what's her name, Chai on Goodreads. We will leave the link to her review down below. I want to read you 2 paragraphs that she wrote about this book that are just awesome. This is what I love most about these books, how they give language to those of us who never learned in college or media or life how to deal with being lost, with feeling that you have wandered out of the right life, forgotten who you are, and kept turning up in all the wrong places, assuming different faces. The kind of lost you cannot help and cannot explain. There is only the feeling, deeper than words, that something is missing, something you hadn't named yet, or perhaps you simply not letting yourself know. This is the kind of lost some of us might go our whole lives trying to accommodate, because it hurts too much to face it head on, like pulling your own heart out by the roots. Monk Robot retroactively renders that painful experience, familiar to many of us, less painful just by virtue of seeing its character, truly seeing them, and placing itself in their corner. To its readers, these books speak with intention and kindness and unrelenting feeling. They say, I see you too, and I get it. And sometimes there is nothing more powerful or more intoxicating than that. Hello, doggo.
Hello, Snoopy.
Alright, so that's a review. We really enjoyed this book. Recommend it to all of you. So yeah, If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Bell button.
You stole my. Please like, share, subscribe, press the bell button if you want to get notifications whenever we post new videos.
There are links in the description box, so please do check them out. Thank you so much for
watching.
And you finish. And you finish.
And we'll see you in our next video.
Bye.